Welcome back, strange crew. You are tuned into another trip through life's deep cuts. We hope you enjoy the ride.
One. We're virtually rolling.
Oh my goodness.
Miss Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, dolls.
Oh my goodness. It's just wild to even hear you say that to us. I don't know.
This is
so surreal.
It's so surreal. Like 15-year-old Charisse is freaking out inside. I could not imagine in a million years you'd be a guest on Strange Groove. So welcome virtually.
Well, pretty soon you're going to be in LA with me.
I
know.
And
we'll definitely
so pumped.
I know, pretty exciting.
What a wild year it's been. Not ever did we think that we'd be, hitting up California together and being on your rock tour, but then coming back for this big milestone event, which, we're really excited to be coming out, but we really wanted to talk to a lot of people and specifically you about some of those milestone memories, because this is a big deal, what's going to be happening in September. And I think
it's a big deal for me. It's been like a dream of mine. I do these talks. I've done them all over the place at colleges, clubs, festivals, etc. But I've always, my dream was to be on the whiskey stage and tell my stories and, do my little thing that I do. And it just happened. It was just magical. I've been chanting too. Namyo Horenge Kyo. I've been chanting for all these good things to happen. Yeah. And one of my new writers I just mentioned to her, I'd love to play the whiskey. She said, oh, well, my partner and I book gigs and he plays the whiskey all the time. It happened that fast.
Yeah. The best things do. That's kind of what we've found out.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
And it's all about sharing that memories and love in the ecosystem, because a lot of times those facilitations that each other needs are right there. You just have to kind of put it back in, right?
Just say something.
Yeah,
it can't hurt.
It's I know it seems so simple sometimes, but I think sometimes it's hard to kind of fathom sometimes what it might take to put on an event there, or to who to ask, or and
yeah. And he just her partner just happened to know. He also plays Robert Plant in the Rock Vault show in Vegas.
That's awesome.
And his name is Keith, and he's really good. He has Robert Plant hair, and he's a real go-getter.
Well, and he's probably, selfishly, Keith, if you're listening, he's probably thrilled to talk to you so that he can get some real tips on how to bring the character even more to life, right?
He's already doing a great job.
Yeah.
If you guys get to Vegas, the Rock Vault show is now at the Hard Rock, and it's really good. People want to go back.
They do, yeah.
Or go there for the first time, for like in your age group or younger. Yeah. They can't believe that shit actually happened. So they want to hear about it, go back in any way they can. So I've predicted for many years that the biggest bands in the world in the future are going to be tribute bands, because they're going to be playing that music that was so revolutionary, so people can hear it again. The real people won't be there, but it's a simulation, and it's important. It's important to carry that music on.
And the stories are so important to get right, or else the wrong parts or the, different sections, right? So many things are made that are just completely bullshit.
Yes. There has been so much, for instance, about Graham Parsons.
Yeah.
People's ideas of who he was, and just the stuff they've read and imagine about him.
Yep.
I'm always trying to correct people on Facebook. I get a lot of shit for it.
Yeah.
Somebody called me a footnote the other day.
Oh my God.
In Graham's life. It's just not true. So you try very hard not to attach to someone's idea of who I am, at the same time.
Well, and it's like, I think people do fantasize or fetishize those times very much so. And I think that it's even harder when we still see people who are very much alive and producing and still telling their stories, and they don't ask those people what those stories are, or, hey, can I see your diary? So I think this is even cooler because, we had the experience to actually be able to go and meet you, go on your rock tour, see the whiskey, and see how much love that you had for that venue and the memories that you had in your real diary. And I think for folks that are listening now, it's like, go to the source. You can ask the source. A lot of folks have social media or somebody helping manage it. So if you have a question to ask them, they'll answer. So I think this is a pretty special event. Kind of, it's like a full circle event, now it's, you are the act. And,
I know it's wild. Well, I was the act there once before with the GTOs.
Yeah.
We opened for Frank Zappa and the Mothers and Alice Cooper.
So wild to me.
1968. So that was a while ago. And we weren't actually on the stage. We took over the dance floor for the part of our show, the GTOs, Girls Together Outrageously. And so this is the first time on the stage. So I'm very excited. I'm playing, just for those of you listening, I put quotes around it, the Whiskey A Go-Go on September 10th, which is the day after my 75th birthday.
Chatting a little bit about this before we hit record. So you mentioned you played the whiskey before with the GTOs. You have many memories there. Do you remember the first time that you were at the whiskey? You mentioned that you were actually underage when
I was hanging out on the strip before I could get in there. And that was like going to Mecca. So we'd hang around out front with all kinds of people. There were thousands, literally, of teenagers up and down the street on Sunset Boulevard. And the first band I met were the Byrds, and that was at Ciro's. And there's no way I could get into Ciro's. It was 21 and over. And I just knocked on the Backstage door and they let me in. So that was a big, big moment for me on the Sunset Strip. And I thought, wow, is this how I meet him? This is pretty easy. And in those days, that's how it was. You could see all the Byrds, all the Buffalo Springfield, the Doors, everybody on the Sunset Strip. But as far as the whiskey goes, I guess it was 18 I had to be to get in there. And I wasn't yet. So I got very friendly with Mario Maglieri, who was one of the owners. And he was the guy at the door all the time. He eventually became like another dad to me. He really, really loved me. We loved each other. And he asked my friend Iva and I, who I went to grade school and all the way through high school with, to dance. We would dance anyway. We could hear the music playing, from outside there. And he said, here, dance and finally one day he said, dance. If you get people into the club, you can come in for free. And that I never had to pay to go to the whiskey ever from day one, from the first time I entered. Wow. Because we would either get guys to buy us drinks or get them up on the dance floor to dance with us. And then, things changed and I started hanging out with big rock stars. So of course I never, ever had to pay to get in there. And I was there probably 3 to 4, maybe 5 nights a week for a long time. It was my second home. I'd go from home to the whiskey over and over and over again. It was a magical time, of course, and a magical place, because like Zeppelin would play the Forum and the next night they'd play the whiskey, which holds like 250 people.
Yeah, completely different kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, very different. Yeah. It was like being in someone's living room for them, probably. And Hendrix. Yeah. I saw Hendrix, The Who, and Zepp there. And it's hard for people to even believe that because it's such a small place and all of those bands are so loud.
Right.
It's amazing my hearing is as good as it is.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think from a fan perspective, it's always really interesting when you're at an arena kind of show, like a really big show. Obviously, it's probably a lot of adrenaline. It's a little bit more tech, but it's exciting for the band. But smaller shows, you can see people's faces. You can see their reactions. Oh, yeah. You can see a fight happen. You can see loving happening. You can see talking about work. You can see it all. And a lot of times I tend to watch musicians in a different perspective where I'm watching their energy interact to see if it's making them have a better time at their own show. So I would probably say that most of those bands that you'd seen, if they could, they probably say those were like their favorite shows.
I probably, otherwise they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I was always there, front and center, like adoring, worshipful muse person, because they of course interacted, like you said, with people close to the stage. Right. And so of course you always hope for that interaction, especially when I was a groupie. That was the whole point, to get that interaction in any way you could.
And I was curious to know, after, kind of going out 4 or 5 nights a week, did you find that you had almost like a sisterhood of young people wanting to hang out with you and your friends?
Well, when the GTOs formed in '68, due to Frank Zappa, we were a dance troupe. Mm-hmm. And we danced with many bands at all kinds of parties and events. We're at Laurel Canyon Ballet Company, we called ourselves. And a lot of the girls lived in Laurel Canyon. And Frank, one of them worked for Frank as Moon's governess, which I took over later. But and so we were at his house a lot. And he decided to turn us into a band, a group, not a band. We didn't play instruments. And so we got very popular pretty quickly, being associated with Zappa. And we'd already danced with this insane fellow named Vito's dance troupe. And we were very well known on the Strip and in the clubs and everything. So yes, we did have people just wanting to hang around with us too. And then of course the bands heard about us.
Were you protective of that in any way?
Protective of what?
Your circle of people. I know, like for me and my girlfriend,
wide open, honey.
Yeah, we are too.
And I'm wide open still.
Yeah, we like to be open and accessible and create a safe, fun place for people. If they're, whether they're having a good time at a show or if they just need a little bit of assistance or if they're anxious, we try to have an open face for that.
You're groupies. I mean, you probably don't admit to it because most people won't, because it's become a bad word. But if you want to help bands and be around them and do whatever you can to make their events and everything work well, and because you love the music, then that's a groupie.
Yeah.
And nothing's wrong with that. It's just that people who don't understand what the word means, which is synonymous with love and loving music, tend to, chastise us and put us down. And I still get called a slut at 75 years old.
I'm just jealous. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know. It was jealousy too, because who's that? They're with that band, that they must be sluts.
Well, exactly.
Even though they wanted to be with the band usually.
That's true.
Well, that's kind of where it comes from. Is I know, like there's this whole thing, especially like with women, keep each other's crowns on, work each other, up, be there for one another. But it becomes pretty intense when you add music or men or anything like that, right? So I find now in today's marketing, what you'll end up is if somebody's doing something cool, and if Sharice and I went over and said, "Oh, hey, let's hang out," they would call us clout chasers. Or they would say that we were hanging around for the wrong reasons, right? But really, everyone has a
clip chasers,
clout chasers,
clout.
Yeah.
Oh,
so some people might say that we're clout chasers because we're interviewing you, right?
Well, that's so dumb. God.
But it's not jealousy.
I have a hippie heart. I have a flower child heart, and I've been, we've all had our hearts broken and everything, but you get to a point, especially now in my life, that I'm just full of gratitude for every breath I take.
Yeah, that's fair.
And all my memories, people want to hear because they weren't there, or some were, and want to remember it. Luckily, I have diaries and books that I can recall these things, and so people are just amazed that I was in certain rooms with certain people at certain times. And the show at the Whiskey is, I'm going to tell those stories because so much happened to me in that club that I think this is going to be a special event, because I think the walls are going to talk to me. I'm going to remember things that happened there. Some of my favorite things ever happened. I've had people ask me, what my favorite moment in rock and roll was, favorite live show all the time. And they expect me to say the Stones or Zeppelin or whatever, but it was the Whiskey a Go-Go, Graham Parsons, Flying Burrito Brothers, singing a George Jones song, She Once Lived Here, and crying. He was weeping through the song.
Yeah, it's funny how those moments will stick out, right?
Oh, there was nothing like that.
Yeah.
There was nothing like that ever. No one was weeping on stage then. Okay, during a song.
Yeah.
No one. It was him. He was the one weeping on stage, and I got to see it. The feeling coming out of him, but the emotion, the you were touched. I remember looking around and people weren't noticing, and I was going, but look, he's crying. It was just so incredible. And he was so enmeshed in the song and the music. And that was my favorite.
It's like why they do it, It's like sometimes I always think too, I don't know if it's just the way my brain works, but the passion had to come from somewhere. And sometimes when they're out just doing the gigs, I think the passion comes back full force instead of it just being something they have to go and do and to perform. And I think when you see those moments, it's really, really beautiful. And they tend to be the best memories in music for a lot of the fans. It doesn't have to be a grand light show or a really phenomenal guest,
Yeah. And there were probably 60 people at the Whiskey that night. A lot of people say they saw the Flying Burrito Brothers. Very few people did. Sometimes at the Palomino, Mercy and I often were the only two people on the dance floor. And but so much happened there. So much. I was, God, I don't even know where to start. So come to the show.
Yeah, if you're listening, let's plug the show.
You guys are coming.
Oh,
we are
flying out. We're coming out.
So cool.
Yeah,
I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, we're so excited.
September 10th.
September 10th. My birthday's the 9th. And I'm having a huge party that you guys are coming to also.
Yeah,
that's right. I got my outfit.
Stranger, did you hear that? Did you hear what she said?
And Kate knows I have my outfit picked out. It's like a repurposed vintage piece. You'd be proud because I know you sell vintage. I'm ready.
Oh, good. Oh, I also always have my racks out.
That's my plan. I'm going to shop for my birthday outfit for your birthday while I'm there.
Yeah, I know.
Good. That's good. Yeah.
And for anybody that wants some sneak peeks, I'll send you some clips and you can send
that
some
would be great.
Some cash.
Yeah.
Cash dollars.
I have my house sales because I love to dress people. The GTOs and me in particular, even before I got into that band, I was totally into vintage in 1965. I mean, I was way ahead of that curve and proud of it. There was one vintage store in LA called the Glass Farmhouse. One. And that didn't start till 68, I think they opened. But I would find turn of the century dresses there, lace, like handmade for like $5,
That's
and now you can't even find that stuff. It's falling apart. It's fallen apart already.
Right.
But I save as much vintage as I can, no matter what the size is. A lot of times it's very small, but I collect it. So I have these house sales too.
I'm so excited. I have not been buying things so that I can buy at your sale. So anything like a long sleeve that you have, you can just put in a pile for Kate.
There you go.
I really like long sleeve things.
You do? I have a lot of that. I have a lot. And you got your, every size, every color, every era. A lot of times I buy new stuff just because I think it looks really cool. So anyway, it's all curated by me. And I have about 3 or 4 sales a year, 2 weekends. People come over and I like to dress them. I show them things and I say, how about this?
So epic.
So cool. Yeah.
It's another one. I have so many ways I make a living. I mean, it's funny. Another dream of mine was to make a living just being myself. And it took decades, but I'm actually doing it.
Oh, yeah. Right. So for those listening, go to Miss Pamela's website. Seriously, it's a phenomenal website. It's beautiful. It has so much just fun information, beautiful photographs that you can buy that are phenomenal for your apartment or for your home. All of her books are available there. And
t-shirts.
T-shirts.
I'm getting the shirt.
Maybe, for example, Charisse and I are very big into, professional development, business development, writing, storytelling. Pamela does great writing workshops. It could be a great gift for someone that you know, or something for yourself, or you can get your company to buy it. So there's lots of different ways. So I'm
Nice.
glad that you brought that up, because I think it's important for people to know what is out there so that they can invest the proper time or dollars in things that will get a good return. And I know for a lot of people in our
DesBarresOfficial.com.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
name.
If
That's where
you
it
know,
is.
I would rather them have this type of, course or seminar than to do a corporate marketing thing, and at least have some sort of motivation to want to write again or to get out and share stories again. So I think that's really important.
I've never tried to go corporate.
Oh
That
yeah,
sounds like fun.
it's
Memoir.
it's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we're a
think
bit
they
edgy.
get a real kick out of it.
We're edgy, but we're kind of corporate on the inside, and it's because we know how to take out value from people and try to tell that story, right? And I
Well,
think
I appreciate you helping me. You know that.
oh yeah, of course. And
It's our honor.
if you're not in the LA area on September 10th, maybe just share the event or share the website and just let people know that this history is out there, because I think it's important. I'm seeing so many different shows and movies, and especially after the pandemic that got made, right? People just throwing in scripts and making it. And you can literally, if you want to talk to Pamela, you can literally go on and ask her and she'll talk to you. So just, ask the right sources, the right questions, and you'll get really, really good gold in return, I think. And that's why we've been so honored to have real conversations with you, because we read the things, we've seen the movies, we've seen shows like the Banger Sisters and things like that. And we've seen them all, right? But now we've met you and we've read the books, and now we understand not just the history, but who you are now, right? At turning 75, what those stories really mean to you and how important it is to tell people, right?
Yes. Me and my cohorts, the flower children, the hippies, are not going to be around that much longer. So
no, it's more important than ever to get this in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes. But I'm
I
still
so
alive and
agree.
kicking. I'm still healthy, and I love life, and I'm very excited about the whiskey. I'm excited about just about everything I do. I'm a writer, in case some of you don't know that. I've written several books, and I'm working on a book now that I have for 4 years with Tom Petty's first wife. They were together 25 years, and we're winding it up. We're getting there.
You got
feel
this.
better.
It's quite a life.
Oh man, that makes me feel better about my book. It's also going to be going on 4 years, so that's a biography. So
Well, I have to do all this other stuff too. So
right, exactly.
But all day yesterday I worked on it. So I still write books, and I teach people how to write, which is really just writing. I'm an allower, not a teacher. I just allow people a safe space to write.
Yeah. And I think just because I
Zoom too. I have Zoom classes.
Yeah, like I think it's really important to talk about that availability, because for example, how we essentially all met is, to let people know who are listening. Sharice and I, we obviously knew and read all of Pamela's books and had connected, and even the mere thought of going out there was completely crazy. And then fast forward out to March, we're out there, we're doing the things. And I think now actually just seeing it has actually improved our business as writers, as people who help people in business. And so whether you're like a receptionist, or you're a content creator, or you're a marketing consultant, or maybe you're just looking for some motivation, take this workshop. Honestly, I'm not even trying to just be biased and plug it. I've gotten personal value from our conversations and just from that. So I can only imagine when people have that one-on-one time with you, or they have specific course loads with you, or they go to a writing workshop. I just think that there's so much value in that. So if you're listening,
thank you. People
check it
tell
out.
me that. People cry and tell stories they've never told. They relive their lives. And I mean, it's somehow the space I can create a safe environment, like cozy, safe environment. And the people who show up in class, even on Zoom too, are very like-minded, because they like me. So they're very much all like each other, and they feel safe with each other. It's really quite incredible. I have people who've been coming for 12, 13, 14 years to these classes.
And they become like buddies.
Oh
friends.
yeah, real close, real good friends. And they make friends with each other, lifelong friends.
Yeah, that's kind of like what happened with us with Janice and Dee Dee when we came on the Rock Tour. We've been in touch the whole time and been following each other, and now we're friends.
I know, it's automatic. It just happens. I mean, it's lifelong best friends happen.
And that friendship that you're creating, maybe even not knowing after people are connecting with you.
Yes, I don't know. I know it's part of my reason for living is that connection thing.
Even in the comments, like we see it when you're making posts, fans and people who have attended are talking to one another and saying, oh yeah, we met and had drinks one time. Remember, we saw each other 3 years ago at this workshop. Let's meet up for coffee. And it's really cool to see what's happening from just your organic want to share what's happened and what is going on, and to put those stories back in those spaces. So I can only imagine what's going to happen after September, honestly, because I think it'll be received very, very well. And I think people will want more of that because it's the real deal.
Thank you. Well, this fellow who's, Keith, who plays Robert Plant, wants to book me. He thinks he can book me all over. It's better be quick because, I'm 75. I can probably do it for another 3 or 4 years or so. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm doing this show in London on November 25th also.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So if you can't make it to this one, go to London.
Yeah, exactly. November 25th, girls.
And if you're listening and you want to come along for the
Arts
journey,
Club.
we'll be taking you along for the ride all the way back out to California in September. So we're really excited about that. And I know limited tickets. So if you're listening now,
they're actually selling like crazy. All the booths and tables are gone.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of seats left.
So get them if you can. Yeah. That's all I can say. We got ours, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, we hopped on it right away. So
and then we convinced our friends to come and got them a ticket, and they're flying out with us.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, we're just bringing people. Yeah.
Okay.
A great way for us to bond, and a great way for us to be in the real mecca of rock and roll with great people. Yeah. So it's a great way for us to all chill.
Cool.
But thank you so much for just jumping on today and chatting and just talking about the event. Cause I think, for anyone who's listening and or watching, it's going to be really fun. And if you see any of us there, say hello. We probably won't know anyone because we're not from California like y'all, but
there'll be a lot of kindred spirits there. Oh, and my ex-husband, Michael, is interviewing me after after the talk, and he's going to hold the Q&A. So, there'll be a Q&A after too. And we just got a hold of footage from the day we met. That movie you guys must remember.
Wow. Yeah.
Folks, The Day We Met is on film. And we got the footage from that day we met, which we're going to show that night, a little clip of it. It's really funny, really funny stuff.
Wow, oh my gosh. Wild thing to rewatch, eh?
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, I was a terrible actor. He was great because he was a child actor. So he stole that entire horrible movie. So you get to see him too acting.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Miss P, for joining us on this special episode of Strange Grooves, and we can't wait to see you in a couple weeks.
We're stoked.
Okay, lots of love.
Talk
I'm
soon.
gonna leave now.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Keep it strange.
If you've enjoyed this, then you have to hit strangegrooves.com for more amazing content. To support this podcast and music community, go to patreon.com/strangegrooves. As always, keep it strange.